How's it going, everyone? My name's Grant Richardson, and today I'm going to talk about a very common pronunciation mistake. Just to give you an idea how common this pronunciation problem is, I've been hearing this mistake over and over and over again ever since I started teaching English about 10 years ago. It doesn't matter where the student comes from, Italy, France, Mexico, Brazil, Hong Kong, it's always the same mistake. And the mistake is mispronunciation of past tense regular verbs. Before we start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll be notified when I post my next video. Let's get on to today's topic. So what is this pronunciation problem? Well, as you know, to pronounce a regular verb in the past tense, you just add ed. For example, the past tense of print is printed. To change create, you add ed to make created. Provide becomes provided. And invade becomes invaded. It's not too difficult, right? You just add ed and pronounce it tid or did, depending on whether the verb ends in a t or a d sound. The problem is, this rule only applies to regular verbs that end with a T or a D sound, such as those examples I just gave you. For other verbs, it's wrong to apply this rule. For example, you can't change open to opened, you can't change plan to planned, and you can't change help to helped. If you pronounce them this way, then native speakers might understand you once they realize your mistake, but they might have difficulty at first. And for this reason, this will limit your band score in pronunciation to a 6, as it says in the band descriptors. To pronounce the other verbs correctly, the other regular verbs, you need to know whether the verb ends with a voiced or an unvoiced sound. So let me just describe both of these two types of sounds. The voiced sounds require you to use your voice box, and they include b, j, g, z, v, m, n, l, w, and y. For unvoiced consonants, you don't use your voice box. And apart from the previously mentioned t sound, they include p, k, s, sh, f. So now you know the difference between a voiced and an unvoiced consonant sound. I can tell you the other two types of regular verbs so that you know how to pronounce those in the past tense correctly. So just a reminder, the first situation that I described earlier was when the regular verb ends with a t or a d sound. The ed is pronounced tid or did. The second situation is when the last consonant of the regular verb is unvoiced, and you pronounce the ed as t. For example, help ends with a p sound, which is unvoiced. So the ed is pronounced t. Therefore, the past tense is helped, not helped. It's helped. Similarly, the verb laugh ends with a f sound, which is unvoiced. So the past tense is laughed. Another example is kiss, which ends with s sound, another unvoiced sound. So the past tense is kissed. I hear a lot of students pronouncing these verbs as laughed and kissed. So that's type 2. Now type 3, as you can probably guess, is all the regular verbs that end with a voiced consonant apart from a d sound. And for these ones, you pronounce the ed as d. It's not a very strong d, it's a very soft d. For example, the verb rub ends with a b sound, which is voiced. So the past tense is rubbed. Similarly, the verb log ends with a g sound, so the past tense is logged. Buzz becomes buzzed, love becomes loved, plan becomes planned, and pull becomes pulled. So that's the third type of regular verb. But wait, what if the verb ends with a vowel sound? For example, study, or play, or annoy. Well, vowel sounds are all voiced, so they follow the third type. And the ed on those verbs is pronounced d. So you would say studied, played, annoyed. These pronunciation rules aren't very difficult to understand, but you might need to practice them for a while before you can say a past tense verb without thinking. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.